It's starting to deflect. It is actually working. I can't believe it. This is awesome. I want to use my CNC to make a 2.5D golf ball that my friend can hang on his wall. I don't have any expensive 3D modeling software, so I need to get clever on how I'm going to do this. Now, I know there's some workarounds with some of these programs where you can import some 2 or 2.5D profiles, but I'm not too familiar with those, so I'm just going to do the old tried and true and keep it simple. My plan is I'm going to use one of these silicone molds, which I've never used before, even though I've done a bunch of epoxy projects in the past. I'll leave a link to those up there. I'm going to fill this with some white epoxy, and after this cures, I'm going to set it on the CNC, and then I'm going to carve all those dimples that give that golf ball all that great detail. Once that is finished, I'm going to 3D print a dome. Now that dome is only going to be 3/4 of an inch, maybe an inch in height, just enough to give it that desired effect. And then I'm going to take my finished golf ball, set it on that dome, and I'm going to use my space heater to blow a bunch of heat at it. And hopefully that epoxy golf ball now will start to deflect just a little bit and take the shape of that dome and give me that 3D effect I'm looking for. "24 hours have passed, or has passed. It's 24 hours later. My epoxy is cured. It is hard. Time to peel it out of this mold. From all the videos I've seen, this should just peel right off. Real easy. No problems at all. And yeah, that is exactly what's happening. Wow, that's incredibly easy. That's so cool. Now I've got this blank here that I can set on the CNC and carve the word Titleist in there. That's his favorite brand of golf ball, so that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do. Can't decide which side I like better. I think I actually like the bottom better. I don't know. No, I think I like the top better. So throw this on the CNC, carve the word Titleist. That is the next step. I'm over here at the CNC. I've got my blank here, and now I need to find center. So I'm just gonna take a piece of tape and put it roughly what I think is center. And then I'm gonna use the jig that I have here. I'll leave a link down in the description. You can cut this on your CNC, but this is just a center finder jig. So then you'll just set your blank down. You'll put your jig over the top of it, register it against your fence, and then just draw lines. Spin your blank a little bit. Make sure it's registered on both fences. Draw another line, spin it. Draw another line, spin it. And there you have it. That is the perfect center. So now when I set my router up, I can touch off on my center there, and I know that my project will be centered directly on this. So while Titleist is curing in golf ball number 1, I did go ahead and pour a second golf ball, and that was so that I could run my heat test. I also printed this dome right here. This is about 3/4 of an inch in height, and this is what I'm going to set my cookie on and then add all that heat, and hopefully the cookie deforms and takes the shape of this dome. And then once it is dry, I can pull that off, and hopefully it retains the shape and it looks awesome. Figured might as well run a test and possibly screw up a sacrificial cookie rather than the one that has more work into it. So if the heat test doesn't work, I can stick with my original golf ball there with the Titleist carved in there, and then it'll just be flat. It'll just be 2D versus 2.5D. So might as well run this test, see if it works. If it does, I'll do it on the actual finished product. I've got my heater set up. I've got my blank on my 3D printed dome. It's just on a wooden block here. And I'm gonna fire this up and see what happens. I'm gonna be moving stuff around. I gotta see how this flame is hitting. I might prop up the back of this or something. I don't know. I think as this is heating up, I'm gonna wanna spin this. So, I don't know, I might just spin this whole thing. I don't know. But I'm gonna turn the heat on. Let's see what happens. I fired the heater up and I let this thing heat up for a little bit. And then I started to slowly try to push that down on that dome. And it was starting to kind of gradually start to take that shape. So I was getting real excited. I put on some gloves and I tried to persuade it a little bit there by pushing it down. And it was starting to take that form, but it seemed like as soon as I would release the pressure, it would kind of go back to its original flat shape. So I just gave it a little bit more time and slowly just kept trying to push down on it and mold it over that dome. And it seemed like it was working. I got really excited, but then ultimately when I let go of it, it just kind of went back to its original shape. So I gave it about 10 minutes, thought it was plenty hot. I thought that would have been the perfect amount of time to get this to either decide to work and I would know, or I would know it's not gonna work. And I decided on the latter there. It didn't seem like it was gonna go. So I just abandoned that. Not a huge deal, but it was a fun little experiment. I just pulled this off the CNC and I made another mistake, so that's failure number 2. I thought I was being slick when I was putting this font on here and using a V-bit. I didn't really think about it that after I cut the dimples, that the area that is going to be still showing the word Titleist there, that black, it's gonna have a different thickness because of that V-bit. And as soon as you cut away some of that V-bit now, you're changing the elevation that you cut, which then is going to change the thickness of those letters when you're looking down on it because of the taper of that V-bit. I'll show you a little close up here. You can see how much thicker like the T is right there versus up there, and then right there on the little part connecting to the L. I thought I was being slick by using a V-bit. I thought I was going to get much better detail doing it this way. I guess I should have just used like an 1/8 inch end mill. You can really see it there on the T. So you got the top of the golf ball here and then inside the dimple. So I was trying to reproduce when they just take these golf balls and just stamp the script across there. Sometimes, you know, it'll go down in the dimple and then it'll be on top of the golf ball as well. So I was hoping to do that. Yeah, you can really see it there, yeah. So it loses a lot of detail. So I would have to re-pour this and then carve the Titleist and maybe just a flat end mill. But with this failure right here, and then the other golf ball playing failure here, I think I'm just gonna go to wood. I think I'm just gonna carve this out of wood. I have a really nice piece of poplar, so I'm just gonna carve that, and then once that is finished, I'll just sand it up, and then I think I'll take some walnut maybe if I got it, and I will go to the laser and just carve the word Titleist and just put that across there. I think it'll look really nice, and maybe I'll put it on a piece of background, maybe some pine or some of those panels you can get from the big box store. I actually like those a lot. So I'm just gonna finish this thing up here. I'll add that and then I will just show you what that looks like. As you saw, I did 2, and these turned out awesome. I really like the way these look. I do like the fact that they don't look as plasticky as that epoxy looked. You know, I know it's white. I know it looks more like a golf ball because it's white, but I don't know, it just kind of looked plasticky. Maybe if I could get it to have taken that shape, maybe I would have liked it better, but I do like these a lot. So I'm just going to find that piece of walnut and I'm gonna cut the script out and then I'll put it on here and then I'll add some oil, make it look kind of nice, and maybe I'll put it on a background or something. But yeah, I think this is definitely the way to go. I think these look really good. So these are the victory. This is the failure. Wasn't able to find any walnut, but I have some of this just under 1/4 inch thick oak, and I think that looks awesome. So I might actually stain this darker. I might actually just use like a walnut type stain on this just to make this darker so it has more contrast against the wooden golf ball. I think this is much better. Anytime I'm working with some delicate cutouts like this, like a name or a small design, I'll take the leftover material that came from and I'll set it where I want to so that way I can get perfect alignment. Right here, I'm just making sure that the 2 dots for the eyes of Titleist don't end up in a dimple, and they don't. So I like my alignment. I'm just gonna add some super glue to the back of this. And once that super glue cures, I'm gonna pop off the waste material here and I should be left with perfect alignment. There's the finished golf ball and I think it looks awesome. I think the color with the oil looks great. And then I love how the profile there, that 30° or 60° V-bit, whatever you use, it's actually a little bit darker. So it gives that shaded area. The detail looks so good on this. I'm so happy. You can see the difference between the raw one and the one with the oil. This was just some oil I had laying around. I actually don't remember what it was. It was nothing special. And then just the font there, that looks good. I think everything turned out well. I think they're absolutely gonna love it. One thing though that I might wanna do is actually put a keyhole on the back of this thing just to make it easier to hang up on the wall. I'm not quite sure. The golf ball is complete, and this is the perfect example of how failure is not the end of a project. I started with that epoxy, wasn't sure how that was gonna go, put the heat to it, it was starting to work, I got really excited, and then it kind of sprung back and got real gummy on me. So I had to abandon that, and then this idea popped into my head. And not all failures lead to failure. You can fail along the way as long as you power through. And as long as you can navigate those waters, you can end up with a finished product. And sometimes that finished product, case in point this one right here, is actually better than the idea that at least I had in my head. I love the fact that this is a golf ball, but it doesn't scream golf. It's not a bright white golf ball on a green background with a putter or a guy hitting a putt. This is just an understated, it's made out of wood. That's what I do. I have the CNC. So if you guys like this video, please hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe. Drop me a comment below. That'll help this video get to more people and help my channel grow. I would really appreciate that, guys. So until next time, take it easy.